So can we move into the WizKids thing? Because I really want to address this.
Oh yeah. Moving on, our support section. The support section for all things, WizKids related, product related, rules related, feedback related, everything, errata related, things like that. Tucker, did you want to start us off on this one?
I really want to say this. Everybody I've talked to from WizKids, and I have talked to a good number of WizKids employees at this point at some length about this game, has been, at the very least, incredibly polite and generally incredibly friendly, accommodating, lovely folks.
Well, they're great people. I love talking to those guys. I love talking to those guys, at least the ones I saw at Worlds.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that they put up with my pestering as much as they did is just, it fills me with gratitude. Unfortunately, that's literally about the only good thing I have to say about the WizKids side of this game. So, employees, please do not take offense. You guys are lovely people, but, like, it is so insane on every level. Like, we all know how I feel about Warp. Even though the rulings help balance the game, I feel like that's mostly by accident. Like, I mean, and just the logistical process of trying to host an OP is absurd. Like, and with limits on prize kits, and then minimums for ship orders, and then the dates are always wrong if they're even there at all, and then you never even know what to tell your I have heard from a number of store owners and distributors that the system just drives them crazy. The WizKids event system is a complete disaster. I mean, what does work?
I thought it was getting better. They finally
put in better, but that's not saying anything.
Didn't they finally put in a way to put in additional battle points finally?
Oh, Frabjous Day!
Hey, we've got leaderboards and achievements.
Congratulations! You have maybe added a functionality that you actually literally need to run events.
A good question is what should be the standard for the company for this kind of game? There's a lot that's not perfect, and then there's a lot that's just bad and puzzlingly bad. But for the stuff that's
awful?
not perfect, yeah. But for the stuff that's not perfect, what do we expect? Especially in a game that I think pretty clearly wasn't built to last, or was they acknowledged it wasn't built to last, right? They said that the support or the interest was enough that they were going to continue on after a certain wave, right?
That sounds like that's something from back in the Andrew era.
Yeah, I mean,
but just what do we expect? I don't expect the polish of. I'm sorry, Will. I don't expect the polish of a Magic thing that's been around for 20 years, or any other board game that's been along.
It'd be nice if they could take some cues from it, though. Sorry, what'd you say?
Or to put it differently, I also don't expect it to have the I don't expect it to have the quality of Hearthstone, which has a multi-million-dollar development studio behind it with a lot of experience in this particular field, i.e., video games. Like, WizKids is good at minis. Flight Path system is entirely new for them. Now, to be fair, it was new for Fantasy Flight as well, but, like, this is virgin territory, and I don't expect them to not mess stuff up.
I don't expect them to not mess stuff up, but I think at this point in time, we are, 2 years into the game now? I feel like that some steps forward could have been made that haven't.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to disagree with you there.
Like, and I don't know if that's... I don't know if that's an effect of them just pushing things out so fast that they don't have time to, just sit and, take in everything they've already released and be like, oh, that's a thing that we should take into account for the next release or something.
Can I ask a question? Does anybody off the top of their head know what Wave the Groth was? This is relevant, I swear to God.
I think that was Wave 0.
Okay, then I was right. Okay, so here's the deal. Wave 0 was the first expansion release wave of the game, right?
Indeed.
The Groth came... The generic captain on the Groth was Core, old Core. This was really upsetting to a lot of people. It took them until the Ning Tao to address that. Now, I don't know if that's because they didn't notice it until later on, or because that's really their turnaround time. But on the positive side, they are definitely trying to address player concerns. It's just that on the negative side, their turnaround time is atrocious in doing so.
Man, I don't know. I think their turnaround time is a lot quicker than that. Because the only 2 times where something has happened where I felt that the game can't continue if this exists is when Fighters came out before the 4 Hull thing, and when Lure was just published, or previewed rather, and boy did they address those quickly. Within a week of release.
Well, that's official errata. That's not a gameplay, product perspective.
Yeah, and it's not only that. That is stuff that literally would have ruined the game. That would have ruined the game in 30 seconds.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like, whether or not Core is a captain does not really matter that much in the grand scheme of like the health of the game. Actually, you know what? A better example would probably be Liviana Charvanek. I don't know what wave the Bird of Prey was, and then it took until the first blind booster set to fix that particular concern, which was a huge thing for a lot of people.
Because she was the generic captain?
She was the generic captain on the Romulan Bird of Prey, yeah. We got a new Cisco in the Gen Con pack that addressed some concerns. So it's a little bit faster than core to core, but like the turnaround time in terms of making product people happy is not amazing.
Now here's my question for that one. What was the turnaround time between the Praetus and the Nova class, the Equinox? Because that seems like something that might have been intentionally, connected.
2 waves, and on the old schedule, so October 2013 to February 2014.
Gotcha. So 4 months.
4 months.
4 to 6 months.
I'm not terribly sure that Navigational Director was exactly in like. I don't know. I mean, because we had mines in the starter, but like.
Cloaked mines were the first thing that the first thing that made that big of a stir, I think, or at least it should have.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing to say is that I don't think we can be 100% sure that any of these were actually addressing concerns.
No, I mean, well, okay. Here's the thing. I am pretty sure the Ning Tao was, because there was absolutely no reason for Old Core to be in that pack.
Right.
Like, that's the one Have there been any other, like, really obvious rule patch cars? I know there have been, I just can't think of any.
Well, I think Shelby was there to try and help us out.
Okay, well that was
a blind buy in the collective.
Yeah, when did that start?
Oh, what, collective?
Well, when were the blind buys? When did the blind buys come out in terms of the wave?
Yeah, collective started around July, August last year.
July, August last year. So, wave
5 was June.
Yeah, and wave 4 was April. So, 2-month turnaround on the Sphere if Shelby was a meta answer. That's pretty good. Though, to be fair, I mean, she is like super anti-Borg woman on the show, so it may just have been I'm not sure about that one.
I wouldn't be surprised though if since the blind boosters seem to be out of plan for the waves, that would be a faster turnaround to releasing something in the blind than it would be in the retail release.
I buy that. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Because we didn't even know blinds
Okay.
existed at, the first set of blinds until they actually announced it. And it's like, oh, all of a sudden we have 5 new ships to collect? That's like 2 extra free waves.
Oh man, I remember back when Terry was spoiling like one every day or whatever. I just remember somebody posting that meme. You got any more of that blind booster spoiler? That was great. Those were good times. And it took us like 5 weeks. It took us like 5 weeks on the show to catch up.
Indeed. But yeah, so I was going to say, so for turnaround is pretty much the first topic that we've just been dealing with here. And that seems like really long. A really long turnaround on that. And also, just quality checking their stuff.
Really long, if it even
Yeah.
exists.
Oh god.
Mhm.
Oh god.
Can't
Oh
fill
god.
it.
Quality. Are we talking about quality checking our stuff?
Quality control, typos,
So
terrible wordings.
Should I go get my Okada Hidarin?
On the
I'm
bright
sorry,
side, I
Richard,
haven't
I'm
seen
never
anything
gonna
else.
let you-
I haven't seen anything else that badly mangled in a while.
But they spelled it wrong 3 different ways. It wasn't even just that they spelled it wrong.
Or I mean, we even saw lesser versions of that in what was it? Did we decide that the tactical officer was trying to be a captain because he had the different box around his icon? He had the captain box around his crew icon instead of the upgrade box.
Oh, and what's that one Vulcan captain that was secretly working for the Dominion the whole time?
Secretly working for the Dominion. Which is good because no one ever played him because he was in the bottom 70%. We only like the top 1% here. 13%. I don't know what's the next percentage that comes under that. But I would actually be it
curious.
still leads to the best one of all so far in recent memory, which is of course Admiral Riker with the hell is this look?
Yeah.
Perform an action off your upgrade bar. What? And it hasn't even been addressed in Worf yet. I know someone's asked it. I know multiple people have asked it.
Yeah, you want to talk about turnaround time. Hey guys, what's off topic? I don't know.
Some guy that's actually new to the game came up on Board Game Geek is like, hey, I've got a question of how Thaleron interacts with Vic Fontaine. And they denied his post.
The answer is just don't play either of them. Just don't. Just don't. Save your TO. Just don't play either of those cards ever.
Sizer Fury, Tribble meta, yes! We need more Tribbles. We need another card that gives us Tribble tokens.
When Will complains that 70% of the cards in this game aren't good, what he's actually complaining about is that an I stab at thee ship loaded with tribbles is not top tier.
Ah, but I still play them both because they are both playable. They're in that top 30%.
I know. I'm just. Oh, okay. Look, if you're including tribbles in the top 30%, like I'm not even sure that it's 30%. I think it's more like 40 or 50. Let's not.
Have you seen some of the shenanigans I pulled with Tribbles? Tribbles are awesome. That's +1 attack and defense. Well, of course it was better back in the day when ships only had 4 or 5 attack and you boosted them to the 5 or 6 attack. But assimilated Tribbles.
Oh man, you can get those in Star Trek Online. The other thing I won't shut up about.
Assimilated tribbles?
Yeah, Tribble of Borg. It's like a 300 Zen purchase off the store.
Assimilated tribble.
Very
I'm
carefully.
gonna link a picture in the chat so that everybody can see this. Hold on.
Oh jeez.
It's pretty great.
I don't know if it'll actually work.
Joseph, are you in the chat? Are you in the chat?
I'm not, no.
Ugh. Then I'll link it to you on the whatever, on the Skype chat.
Hurry so I can open it.
Okay. Okay.
But,
this. Here we go. No. What? What do you mean deleted link?
Sorry, I have my chat focused so that random people can't just post with the bad link. Here, give me the link in chat and I'll post it on. I'll put it on the stream.
Just send it.
There we go.
I mean, random people. I'm clearly not random. Maximum DT, I agree. Tribbles on Tholian ships is clearly a winner. Clearly.
Wow.
Triple
They look
Tholians.
horrifying.
Oh, they're
Come on,
so
tell me that's not
cute.
awesome.
Look at the little
Are
Triborg. Even
There's
purrs
nothing
Borg like.
sacred to the Borg.
Nothing at all.
Yeah. No, Omicron's right. It even does per Borg. No, there is. It does per Borg like, but there's also like an Undine Tribble. There's a really. I could explain why they do this, but it's really not worth it.
Fan service.
So, talking about Worf, would it be better to not have Worf or to have Worf?
At this point, I think having a bad thing is worse than having no thing at all. I didn't think that was something I would have a problem with after Chris Guild stopped responding on Board Game Geek, but it is something I am having a problem with.
But like, they've made the game better, mostly through what I think is pure random happenstance. But they have made the game better.
They've been establishing very arbitrary, limitations because to curb the what's the best way to put it? I don't know. The flaws in game design. Like, I don't want to say the game design is flawed, but
look, this game is balanced right now, as I've said. But it's not balanced like a perfectly scale made so that each side is beautifully even. It's balanced because there's like duct tape all over things and like random things pile on one side. And, I don't know, like a book propping up the other end. Like,
and for God's sakes, don't look at the closet.
Oh god.
Yeah.
All we need to do is just bring back the Admiral's orders. Admiral's orders fixes everything.
No. No, apparently, we found out the other day, there is somebody in the UK who apparently still uses them. So that.
Well, there's only one you can use under official rules. Since you can't have two ships anymore, because two ships apparently got good.
Yeah, well, I don't know, Will, is a fighter a ship for an Admiral's order?
Oh, God. I've had 5 questions sitting in that thread waiting for months now.
Oh, God.
I just want to know if I stab at you works in them. That was the most important one.
I think from my perspective, I'm happier to have had Worf than not, because even though Andrew Parks was, more thoughtful and really superior in every way, he was actually less useful for me at OPs because I couldn't. It was a third-party site,
and it's not even just that.
Because that was WizKid's fault themselves that they didn't have an official FAQ site.
But like,
agreed.
That thread was so cumbersome to navigate. Like, by the end, you couldn't even do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's also true.
The reason I would say that I would have rather Worf didn't exist is because we were already at the breaking point of not having rules, and I think the Rules Council would have been an actual thing that people would have started following.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. That's
I
tough.
I would honestly rather have us all being annoyed with Worf rulings than having the sort of flame wars that basically having a volunteer site would engender. Like, can you look? I mean, look. Let's face it. Like, the 3 people who are most active on the rules, or the 2 people who are most active on the Rules Council right now, are me and David, and we are by far, like, we are not at all uncontroversial members of the community, especially me.
Oh, but back in the day though, when it was actually getting started, I think it was suggested that would be like me and who's our favorite guy that just quit the game like a month or 2 ago? Me and Sean and Nick or something.
It was you and Sean and Carl, I think, was one of the suggestions.
Something like that, yeah.
But But it's like, yeah, I mean, I get that, but it's like, the fact is, look, the fact is, if we want to talk about the state of the game, I really didn't want to bring this up, but there is one huge sort of elephant in the room, which is there is a huge, echoing, abounding divide between the casual players and the competitive players. There just is. Like...
But the casual players don't really need the rules a war style FAQ.
No, I agree, but like
they still want one
still
though.
Get upset. They would still get upset because they don't want the game run by the competitive players any more than the casual player, or than the competitive players want the casual players running the game. I mean,
well, that's true.
There are a lot of WARF rulings that are seen as pandering to more casual players by a lot of competitive players, which is seen as a very negative thing. There is a huge divide in this community. I have to admit, I feel at least partially responsible based on some of the things I said, much earlier in my, time with this show, because I didn't realize, frankly, how many people listened when I said something. But the fact is, like, I don't know how to...
A volunteer rules council could just make tournament rules, though, right? And eliminate that problem. My concern with it, and anything that isn't official, is that when I'm at an OP and I show someone how a card has changed on the FAQ of WizKids for the game, they're mad at me. They're still mad at me, but the game can continue. If I showed them a post from a third-party website, they'd shrug their shoulders and say, "So you're a cheater?" And I go, "Yeah, okay, I guess." Like, it's not going to get you anywhere.
That's true. It's just, yeah.
I think that was a big problem back in the early days before the FAQ, and that was just one of the things that WizKids fell short on, which caused a lot of players to get angry and, maybe not make people leave yet, but that was the starting of the straw on the camel's back.
But I mean, this is one other thing. Yeah. Like, this is, if I had to say, this is the biggest problem with the game thus far. Nobody knows how to play. Mm-hmm. I mean, you think I'm joking? Today, literally today, I saw two of the most experienced players I know arguing about how initiative works. I mean, this is... Joseph and Peter both had at least one instant in the finals of the World Championship where there was something in the printed rulebook that they did not know. And that's not on them. That's on the fact that this game is a complete disaster in some ways. Like, I love it. I love this game so much. I started a second podcast because of how much I love this game. Talking about it with you guys for, 2 hours a week was not enough. But, like, the rules are such a complete disaster.
That's only one aspect of what WizKids has their hands in on this side. What were you going to say, Joseph, before I move us on?
Just that I think it would be overstating it to say that at least it's moving in the right direction, but at least there have been some gains. That was all I was going to say.
Mm-hmm. Like, I even want to just move away from like all the rules and errata stuff, because like we already know how we feel about that. It still exists, it's still there, it's still just driving people away. Like that was what killed like the last 2 or 3 players at my venue. Apart from losing our night and everything, they kept at it until they started hearing what Worf was saying. It's like, this is how you are supposed to play this card now, and they're like, what? But
yeah,
so yeah, that's definitely was a contributor to people leaving. Definitely in my area, I'm certain in other areas as well. But I mean, that's not the only thing that WizKids has their hand in. This is kind of what everything that the official support for the game is what I wanted for this section. And I just wanted to ask you guys: do you guys think that bringing out another set of blind boosters is a good idea?
If they are as balanced as the RIF blind boosters, and they're going to last a year for 10, so you have time to get them all.
So that's...
I personally like it.
So that's balanced among themselves, not necessarily balanced in the context of the entire game.
That's correct, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am always going to be in favor of new stuff. I really, 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 really love... I really love just having so many different... Like, the joy of running Battle Station, my other podcast, which you should totally look up on iTunes, episode 3 out now. We do the Gavroche. It's amazing. Not a plug at all. But, like, in all seriousness, like, the joy of just having so many things to look through, unless I'm fighting the interface, is just great. Like, yeah, I'm happy to get 10 more ships. I'm always going to be happy to get more ships. Do I think blind buys are amazing for the game? No. Do I wish we weren't doing blind buys? Yes. But, like, yeah, you know, like Joseph said...
Why is that, Tucker?
I don't like how expensive it makes OPs. It puts a really high barrier to entry into OPs. It also means that you can't just hand a newbie a build and say, here, run this. They're going to have to struggle with 30-point fleet construction themselves, and that is... oy vey.
Right. That's a good point. The upside being that some people who don't finish to get prize ships are happier to leave with a new ship. But I agree, especially on the building.
The problem that I've been running into is that now after Resistance is done, I didn't have any OPs for a while, but going back to an OP that was $5 felt really good. Like, yeah. I definitely know a couple father-son teams that I'm now actually pretty certain that them having to buy 2 ships every tournament was what drove them out of the game as well. That just to participate being $15 instead of like the old buy a, you could some of the stores did it. You can buy a pack or you can pay the $5 entry fee, whatever works best for you. And I think OPs going back to $5 would be a thing that could keep people in the game again.
Yeah, I mean, I like, the only reasons I don't see it being great are not from a gameplay side, with the exception of additional complexity for newcomers. Like, you know, do I think that if blind buys were free, do I think they would be good for OPs? Sure, why not? I mean, I could see they have advantages and disadvantages if they're free, you know. But
now here's the thing: would it be better if all of the blind ships were instead, you know, retail packs instead of, you know, forcefully bought as an OP thing? Like have another like mid-wave with all 10 of the packs in it, and you can, if your store wants to run it that way, you can buy the packs in that kind of fashion, or you can just still do it with just, you know, your $5 entry. Like have a list of, you know, blind buy play packs that you can buy, and buy one of those if that's the way you want to run it, instead of having it strictly, you know, just blind buy random all the time.
So 2 things. Number 1, obviously I would like that. As I've said earlier, I don't like limited availability of things. Number 2, Omicron 007, whose OPs have been $5 with or without blind buy. Yeah, you can suck it.
Oh, that's nice.
That's one of my boys. That's Guelph.
You have a venue where you can... Ah! I'm gonna go kick a tumbleweed!
That'd be really cool. Yeah, make the blind buy... WizKids, make all your blind buys cheaper.
Problem solved.
We'll take the free ships. Essentially, almost free ships.
Well, we did get free ships, though. We got free ships for OP5 and 6, Dominion War. I mean, fighters are basically a ship.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Better if they weren't a resource these days.
Right, no, yes, but what I'm saying is, just in terms of, like, financial production values...
Oh yeah, they were. From what I understand, though, both of those were also still more expensive than the other general OP kits.
Yes.
Because when when they came around, our entry fee jumped from $5 to $10.
I'd rather pay 10 than 15.
Yeah, that's still better.
You'd pay a gallon of blood from your body to get into an OP right now.
That's not true. I really hate needles. Trivia fact: I am terrified of needles.
He would pay 3 of those tumbleweeds to sit down and have a tournament with him.
That is probably true.
They have great maneuverability.
The tumbleweeds only use Borg ships.
That's okay. They're really bad at that whole strategic determination thing. They're very predictable.
Yeah. And even on the release on the schedule of release ships, having a sudden influx of 10 ships is a big jump in things you have to buy for this game. Like,
yeah, but like,
how do we still feel? How do we still feel about still going 3 ships every month of releases? Like, in 1 month we're gonna have 13 ships.
It gives us something to talk about, which is nice. But like, at this point, if you really stop and think about it, we have previews more weeks than we don't.
Mm-hmm.
If they actually do them once a week like they should, we will have previews more weeks than we don't forever.
You don't have to buy all 3 retail ships to stay even at the highest level of competitive play.
Oh yeah, definitely not anymore. It's definitely gotten to the point where there's been so many ships that you're like, okay, now I'm going to start cutting back.
I agree with you, Will, on the blind buys, though, because you do have to kind of panic snap them up, especially the first 2 waves, because then they're gone forever, right? And some cards you knew were going to be good, Shelby being an example, and then some cards, they had interesting applications, and if you didn't get them, you were in trouble down the line. Sakona is an example of that. Or for the Romulans, even that improved cloak or advanced cloak.
Here's the thing. I think that releasing all 10 of them at the same time is going to help mitigate that. Because now we're going to be using all 10 of these for a calendar year. I have heard that from WizKids. It is confirmed. These are the next set, probably until July, August next year. Which means that if a store orders them, it's gonna like they're just gonna be more in circulation for longer. Like it's not like we're gonna have the first 5 and then suddenly those are gone and we have the next set. We're gonna have this for you have a year to play enough OPs to get all 10 ships.
Now let's just hope that one of those ships isn't just a little bit better than the others, or else like the D&D sets that they had. That everyone's going to need 3 paladins and only 1 of everything else.
Scout 255, welcome to the show.
Well, actually, that's the thing though. That blind buy wasn't that was the best constructed blind buy, but in the pack you were probably happiest to get the Kazon.
Oh yeah, as the for the playman value, that was a pretty good one, but like. What was one of the must-haves that you would need multiple? Like the Romulan one from the first OP event. Everyone wanted 2 or 3 of those just for the advanced trophy.
I actually still have, I think, a spare, and I thought about putting it up, but the answer is I just might need a second copy of Advanced Cloak if I ever decide to go Romulans or Cloakers, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah, I coveted those for sure. The Mirror Universe had the dorsal weapon that you definitely wanted multiples of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. I never really felt the need to go out and.
I would rather have. I would get more use out of double Prakesh than double Scout Cube, though.
That's true.
Well, the thing about the Scout Cube was it was just better in the OP. Every time I opened up my box and saw that I had a Scout 5/5, I was happy because I knew I won the OP, right?
Oh, that was back when they could still fire range 3 too.
No, I mean Scout 255 was good, but I was certainly happy to see a Banana Boat or a Prakesh. I mean,
yeah.
Now clearly
they were a lot closer than the Klingon and Romulan one were, but Boy, that
Yeah.
Scout 5.5 was good. Especially if you were running the rest of your fleet board, which you usually were.
Yeah, because it had things
No, I
that
mean-
could actually mitigate, that could actually support your other board ships, didn't it? Like hive mind and whatnot? Or,
It had
Yeah,
stuff.
and
Yeah, like
And it could just move backwards well.
oh yeah,
If you
keep your
wanna
ships
do
in
it.
formation.
I agree with that. But like, let's not discount how good. Like that Vulcan ship was so damn impossible to kill.
If you got the
Like-
Ferengi ship, though, you got the booby prize.
But even the
That was-
Ferengi won a regionals. Like it's like the worst ship in that pack ended up being clutch at a regional final. You know what I'm saying?
They were the RIF ones were definitely close. The collective ones were
Yeah.
not as close.
I feel the Ferengi
no, I
winning,
mean-
though, was more of a mistake on the opponent than the strength of the Ferengi ship.
Yeah, but even so, and I mean that's 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
Like on the
It's
flip
still-
side,
yeah.
what would you rather have, the Bemoth or the Gavroche?
Bemoth.
That was not a real question.
That's Will's
Oh.
analytical
So-
nature, because that he had to
so I
pause it
will-
all there. Tells you.
Yeah, I have to say, Eddington did help me out a little bit, but not as much as the Bemoth would have in almost every other circumstance.
Good old Bemoth.
Oh, and in collective OP2, when it was just dealing damage, getting a Gavroche instead of a Bemoth, horrifying.
Yeah, you might as well go home.
So
Especially
Yeah.
like me. You want to know why I did so well in collective OP2 on that 3-0? Because I got a Bemoth and I was running Klingons. I was running Gowron. I was running
Wow.
I was running Klingon flagship.
Nice.
Like I got a Bemoth and I may have actually jumped for joy. I was kind of obnoxious to play with at that time.
That's always fun.
Um
So before we go into too much more of like the stories of how great our blind buys were, general conclusion about blind buys, how we feel
Well,
about where
you know
they've
what?
been and where they're going.
Well, let's say this. We just spent a bunch of time, like, telling good blind buy stories.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If nothing else, like, I think that they add... I'm not happy they make OPs cost $15. Obviously, I'm a broke graduate student, for God's sake. By the way, news in my life, my thesis is in. I'm so excited. I'm defending it within the next 4 weeks. So that's cool. Anyway.
Very cool.
But yeah, I'm very super excited about that. But the point is,
Oh.
like, they add to the game. Like you said, the spoilers for them were the golden age. We have good stories about them. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, they're fun. One extremely sketchy trick, which is I guess a WizKid Kids comment too, that Peter taught me is, if the venue was reckless enough to let you pick the boxes up from the table,
Oh, yeah, they
instead
were
of just
always-
handing them out.
Oh, they were all ordered.
You could
They were
tell-
always in the same place.
Well, and you could tell which one the scout was just by holding it, because it was thicker than everything else.
Yeah, I mean, so that was a problem.
Oh yeah. I think
Yeah,
I feel like that was great back in the day, but with our colored nostalgia, I feel like that's not really the place where we need to go in the future, but we're going there anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Like I think we're going to start inundating the market with ships, and there's not going to be as many players now to buy them anymore.
That's okay. Prices
Yeah,
will crash. I'm all right with that.
I'm not all right with that because that means this time next year we're going to be every single Star Trek thing will be on the discount $1 shelf because no one plays the game anymore.
That's all
Or
right.
Worlds will be televised on ESPN1. You never
Wings
know.
of War. No. Red
Okay,
Baron?
even
I
Magic
don't
never
know.
made it past ESPN2.
Wow.
Wait, seriously, you
I
didn't
actually
know
have to sign
Magic
off
used to
here,
be
guys,
on?
I'm afraid.
Oh no, I remember that.
Oh yeah. All right.
I actually have to sign off, I'm afraid, guys.
All right. Yeah, I should get going too.
Yeah, we did have some problems and it is
Seeing
getting
that
late.
next tonight.
But yeah. So just to wrap up, that's the end of the support. And well, I had a session put aside for Q&A, but I don't think that's going to happen because we got to go. But in general, for the entire state of the game, sum it up in 2 sentences, whatever you guys feel like. Tucker? I know
a playable game with a sufficiently diverse meta that is sadly unsupported by the company that makes it.
Joseph?
That was one sentence. I'm proud of myself.
I've got a quote. There's treasures in this game to satiate appetites both gross and delicate, but it's not for the timid. So, not a bad way to describe the game, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Q's got it right.
Good old Q. We always love Q. And as for myself, there was one last topic we didn't get to that I wanted to touch on, was bringing people back into the game. And I think that if this game wants to continue going, we have to find some way to appease some of those people that ran away screaming, what the heck were you guys thinking, when you printed this rule or whatnot. And I think the main thing for that one is to, hey, give us a second chance. Here's a free pack of the updated version 2. And we promise that we will make it better, strictly better from here on, and we will be consistent. And I think that's just the big thing that the game has been lacking so far is consistency. And it hasn't been quite fixed yet.
I strongly agree with you there, Will.
You know what I think is really going to do the most to bring people back into the game? Honestly? Here's what I think. If you, Will, and you, Joseph, and me, and you all listening to this, and you all watching this on YouTube, if we all go out and we find someone either new or who's played before, and we take out a generic Galaxy class and a generic Vorcha, or a generic Constitution class and a generic Gorn Raider, or something like that. No upgrades, no captains. Even if you play with the quick start rules, if you like, and just sit down and play this game at its most basic. Because you know what? The one thing that's never changed is that when you take away all of the stuff that makes this game unbalanced and complicated, at its core, this game is still really freaking fun.
That's what I really liked about the flight path system in general. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining us for State of the Game tonight. Sorry there were some problems. Hopefully you won't see half of them in post on YouTube. But thank you everyone who joined us today. I've got a whole list of people I want to thank from my spreadsheet, and I will do that in comment section of a YouTube video and on our State of the Federation page. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Tucker, Joseph, any parting words?
I'm happy to still be playing the game.
Okay, I did promise, guys, seriously, if you're going to be at Gen Con, go sign up for Steven Toons' event. It needs some more people to run, to sign up before it can actually fire.
Indeed.
But on another note, also, check out my Battle Station podcast. It's on iTunes. You can also find the link on the RSS link on Board Game Geek. On that note, just keep playing this game. Deep down, this game is stupidly fun.
Hey, guess why I'm still playing the game somehow, despite all of my grumblings and rumblings and yelling and dragging me kicking and screaming. Still a game I enjoy.
I mean, look, I played this game with my mom. I have never my mother,
Tucker,
my entire life. Sorry,
it's cool.
It's a big deal.
It is, and we're glad about that. But that's it for today's show, guys. Thank you all for joining us. Play some more Star Trek, and until then, may Q be generous with your dice. Have a good night, everybody. Joseph, I know you got to get out here. Get out here.
State of the Federation is a production of Will Sanchez, Tucker Kobe, and Joseph Bandu. We are not associated nor affiliated with WizKids NECA Games, and all opinions are our own except where otherwise expressly stated. All copyrights are copyright the respective rights.